Hi, everyone. This is Steve Dalasan, and welcome to this week's edition of CEOs You Should Know. I'm thrilled to be joined by Shaina Rainford, the CEO of Bask and Lather. Shaina, thanks for being here today.
Thank you for having me.
Really excited to have you on the show and to be able to dive a little bit more about you and more about Bask and Lather.
Awesome.
So why don't we kick it off and tell us a little bit about your background and what ultimately led you to co-create Bask and Lather?
Yes, so I am also a board certified nurse practitioner. And from the time I was a kid, I always knew that I wanted to go into a career where I would help people. And initially, I said I'm going to become a physician. I wanted to go into surgery. And then I became a mom when I was a teenager. And I said, there's no way I'm going to be like 35 and just now finishing my residency with medical school. So I said, what else can I do that would give me some work-life balance? And I decided to become a physician assistant at first. And then I said, it's not holistic enough for me. So I decided to go to nursing school and become a nurse practitioner. And then let's backtrack. A few years ago, my younger sister, Aaliyah, lost all of her hair. She had a really bad ringworm that spread all over her scalp.
Oh my gosh.
And it was initially misdiagnosed as dandruff. And by the time it was properly diagnosed, she lost all of her hair. She had a big crop circle, and her scalp was smooth, shiny, bald as ever. She was too young to use anything over the counter or pharmaceutical. And my mom was really desperate to regrow her hair. So she did research about natural efficacious ingredients for hair growth.
Yeah.
And she whipped up a concoction, which is our scalp stimulated hair growth oil. And fast forward to the pandemic, I was working as a nurse practitioner, acquired COVID, became really, really sick. And my hair started to fall out, shed, and break. And I started using the oils, and my hair recovered in no time. And I said, we need to share these products with the world. And that's what we did.
Congrats.
Thank you.
I turned a negative into a big positive, right? That's incredible. So I know you mentioned a few times that you're a licensed nurse practitioner.
Mm-hmm.
How has that medical background really influenced your ability to produce and develop this product? And how do you instill those values with the brand today?
Yeah, so I always say that every product is made with a little bit of science and a lot of love because they are. All of our products have just science behind them, from the ingredients to what we use to what we don't use, which is as important, right? So we don't use ingredients like parabens or formaldehyde releasers, and that's because as a health practitioner, I have knowledge about what those ingredients can potentially do to our bodies. And every single product, I'm taking that into account. And while we don't have the cheapest products, we make sure that our price point is accessible for the people that need the most.
Absolutely. And Bask and Lather has become a viral sensation and a multi-8-figure brand. What do you think has really driven that brand's explosive growth and how you've really created that loyal customer base?
Yes, so there's no magic playbook for sure. I think the difference is that there are a lot of products on the market. Our products actually have a purpose and meaning behind them. And even the way I lead the company and create products and determine pricing is all with the consumer first, right? So I'm not one of those CEOs who will make major changes to the product to save 2 pennies, right? And also because we don't have any investors or any debt, we don't have to make those type of decisions at the consumer's sake. So everything that we do, again, is around the consumer, and they trust us, they're loyal to us, and they know that we care.
That's awesome. You mentioned earlier you're a mom.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously a lot of hats, right? CEO, mom, entrepreneur. I know you invest in real estate. How do you juggle it all? And what are some of your principles that are best practices others could use?
So there's no such thing as balance, is all I'm going to say. When your attention is focused on one thing, something else is not getting your full attention. So I have 3 children now. I have my 17-year-old son, Jaden, who's our head of growth. So that's the kid I told you I had when I was a kid myself.
Nice.
He has grown our company 1,000% year over year. He lives and breathes marketing. He's in Denmark right now on a Euro trip, uploading creatives.
That's great.
He's grown our company a lot, which has been great. I have a 7-year-old and I have a 5-month-old, and I haven't.
Congratulations.
I took 1 day of maternity leave.
Oh my gosh.
I was rolling into my C-section. I got to clear my emails.
Oh my gosh.
But again, you just do what you have to do. And again, because of all of the explosive growth we're having right now, you have to ride the wave.
Gotta ride the wave,
take
yeah.
advantage while you can.
Congrats. Well, congrats on the newborn as well.
Thank you.
So obviously very innovative product, came out of, as we talked about earlier, a negative that you turned into a positive. How do you continue to foster that innovation and make sure that you continue to scale, as we discussed?
Yeah, so we whenever we're creating new products, it's not based on what we think,
Sure.
right? Well, I want to create this because of this. It's what the consumers ask for, right? And they will, every single product, we now have 16 SKUs, and the customers will tell you, well, I need this, I want that, and they will buy it. So the way we know when we know to introduce new products is based on what the customers ask for. And then we innovate from there. We make sure it aligns with our core values. So again, scalp safe, non-toxic, absolutely won't use ingredients. We keep them out, and it has to meet that price point that we know is feasible for our target audience.
That's awesome. So you're actually listening to the feedback from the customers and what they want.
Yep.
Are they messaging on social? How are they getting that feedback to you?
Social, they'll make posts. I need this, I need that. I want to get
That's
everything from you
awesome.
guys, and we listen and we develop.
Well, speaking of innovation, what are some of your long-term goals for Bask and Lather? What can fans and customers look forward to next?
Yeah, so one of the things we're working on now is expanding globally, our global footprint. So we've always, from day one, shipped our products globally. Now we want to have our products physically available for shipping directly in those countries. Again, making sure that it's easily accessible and affordable, and also expanding into retail storefronts globally as
Is
well.
that why Jaden's in Europe right now?
No, he did do some market research while he was
Nice.
out there.
Had to ask. So how do you ensure that with this growth and with the expansion that you still are staying core to authentic, being the authentic brand that's so community driven that you always had at the foundation of the company while you obviously continue to expand?
So one of the things I don't do is I don't hire anyone for anything that I don't know how to do myself. That's the surest way to get taken advantage
Love
of
that.
or to lose touch, right? And things just don't align with the original reason why I created the brand and what's important to me. And then I also have a team that's just amazing, and they're my right and left foot. And they just make sure that every single thing aligns, because obviously, as you grow and expand, you can't be everywhere at once. You can't
100%.
see everything, but you need to have your road dogs that will make
Yeah.
sure that this is who we are, and we
Yep.
don't deviate away from this.
100%. What role does education play in a strategy? Do you see Bask and Lather helping like really shift that narrative around scalp and hair health?
Absolutely. So we're always educating, but we don't educate in a boring way, right? I always say there's things it could be our own post, and I'll tell the social team, like, I wouldn't want to read this, and it's ours, right?
Yeah.
So we're making it easily digestible. And a big thing for us is we're always focusing on value proposition.
Sure.
And if we're educating consumers on something, again, just making sure it's what they need to know without all of the extra fluff. And this is why it's important and why. So, for example, toxic ingredients.
Hmm.
Our edge control is our highest volume SKU. And the reason that product initially went viral is because we made a video educating consumers in the store. Look, did you know DMDM high dantoin is a formaldehyde releaser? And they're like, formaldehyde, the stuff you put, embalm dead bodies with? And we're like, yep, that's what it is. We don't
It's
use that in our edge
crazy.
control, and it's stronghold, and it works, right? And that was so easy for them to follow, and it literally blew the product up overnight.
You know what's been awesome throughout this entire conversation, something that you keep saying that really sticks out is that you're doing it for the customer. And I
Mhm.
think that's something that a lot of brands and other CEOs could learn from, right? You just talked about obviously the education part is really important to the customer. Innovation is you're listening to the customer. You created the product to help the customer. So that really stands out as something that's very unique for you.
Absolutely.
I love that. So obviously, big success, amazing journey from start to finish. But I'm sure along the way there might have been some hiccups or challenges you faced. Looking back, what has been some of the biggest challenges, and how did you overcome that?
I would say the biggest business is easy, right? The hardest part about business is building a good team and having good resources. I don't come from a corporate world, right?
Sure.
Nursing is the farthest thing from nursing. You have a nurse, a nursing supervisor, nursing manager, that's it, right? So even now, as we're growing and expanding, I'm like, okay, who do we need on our team, and how is it supposed to be structured properly to make sure that everyone is well supported and not burnt out, right? And in addition to that, right, just manufacturing, right? I'm one of those people that I love everything for me is about relationship building. So I grow to love people and relationships, and it's very hard to let go even when you outgrow things. And I'm also, and then now I'm learning, right, as I'm growing up in my entrepreneurial journey, is that, everything kind of has a season, right? So Bask and Lather, we're not the same company we were 4 years ago. And, our little manufacturer that we loved 4 years ago, now this year was just like there was no way possible they could handle our growth. And you kind of have to learn when to let things go when those
Sure.
things no longer fit in the season of where you are. So still learning, still working on it. But I would say people, and then also knowing when to move on.
That's awesome. And speaking of that, obviously, for any aspiring entrepreneurs that are tuning in addition to finding good people, in addition to knowing to let go, what's some advice you could give yourself looking back on it right at the start when you're creating the company that you wish someone had given you?
Hmm. Oh, never have one of anything.
Okay.
Never have one of anything. Never have one vendor for a bottle. Never have one computer. Never, always, even when you're hiring teams, make sure everyone has some overlapping function,
Yeah.
right? People are humans, not AI. Never have one manufacturer, right? Never leave all of your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, that's great advice. We talked about earlier that you wear many different roles. How do you commit to staying grounded and focused while juggling all those different hats?
Hmm. I kind of just do it. Like, I swear, like, every day if I look back at my own to-do list, I'm like, how is this humanly possible? Right? Even with growing a team and being able to delegate things and to have great support, it's just a lot. And I
Yeah.
kind of just do it. And one of the things that I'm learning to do now, if something's going to take like 3 minutes or less, you just do it. Don't add it to your to-do list. Otherwise, it'll sit there for 5 months.
Yep.
So that's one of the things that just gets me moving on. Even if I'm going to delegate something and typing that email is
Just
going to
get it
take
done.
longer than doing it, just do it.
I love that. Very, very good advice. Well, we covered a lot throughout the interview. Is there one thing you want people to take away from our conversation or one thing about your journey that you really want to resonate?
Yes. So I always say that I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit, but it's always been rooted in wanting to help people. And again, there's no magic playbook, and I still don't have all the answers, even with having an extremely successful, profitable company. But I just stay true to knowing that what's meant for you will work. And it's a lot of hard work, right? Being an entrepreneur is by no means a walk in the park. You're not gonna have all the luxurious free time everyone thinks you're gonna have. But it's so worth it. And building a legacy and something that will live beyond you is a feeling that is hard to shake and is great.
If someone's tuning in that
Uh-huh.
wants to support Bask and Lather or they want to find out more, what should be their first step?
Yeah, so definitely check us out. Our website is www.baskandlatherco.com. We can also be found on all social media platforms at Bask and Lather Co. Check out our testimonials, our amazing customers worldwide, and you can check out our About Us, our stories, all available on our website and our social media.
Awesome. Well, Shayna, thank you so much for diving in. Is there anything we might have missed that you want everyone to know about?
Nothing that I could think of,
We covered
but
a lot.
stay tuned. We have a lot on the way, and our mission to help men, women, and children all over the world grow it and keep it to continues.
Well, Shayna, thank you so much for coming in today, for sharing your inspiring story. I loved hearing about how you came up with Bask and Lather and all the amazing things you've done since then. And I'm really looking forward to seeing where you guys go next.
Thank you.
Thanks again for tuning in and tune in next week for next week's edition of CEOs You Should Know.